What if I told you that one single nutrient could help slow aging, boost your immune system, and even reduce your risk of heart disease? But also too much could be too toxic. What's up, legends? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Callum Weir, your plant-based nutritionist, nutrition columnist, and host of Plant Fueled. Welcome back. Selenium is a trace mineral, meaning that the body only needs it in tiny amounts, measured in micrograms rather than milligrams. But don't let that fool you. Despite its small presence, selenium plays a huge role in maintaining human health, influencing everything from cellular defense systems to hormonal regulation and immune function. And without it, some of the body's most essential processes start to break down. One of selenium's main roles is being an antioxidant. At a cellular level, our bodies are constantly attacked by free radicals, highly reactive molecules that can damage our DNA, proteins, and cell membranes. And with that left unchecked, the oxidative stress accelerates aging and increases the risk of diseases like cancer. And selenium helps combat that by being a key component of glutathione peroxidase, an enzyme responsible for neutralizing these harmful molecules. And this isn't just a theoretical benefit, but studies show that adequate selenium levels correlate with lower markers of oxidative stress and inflammation, two of the major drivers of chronic disease. With a 2021 study published in Nutrients, found that selenium was crucial in reducing oxidative stress and protecting brain health as we age. And the thing is, you probably never thought twice about selenium. It's not a headline-grabbing superfood, it's not sexy, and you don't see influencers raving about it. But inside your body, selenium is doing something extraordinary. It's acting as a defense shield against one of the most destructive forces in human biology, oxidative stress. And we've mentioned that before already in the video. But oxidative stress is invisible chaos. It happens when harmful molecules build up and start attacking your cells. But selenium isn't just about fighting that oxidation. It's also crucial for our immune health. In fact, during the COVID-19 pandemic, researchers discovered that patients with selenium-rich diets in selenium-rich regions had higher survival rates than those in selenium-deficient areas. And that's because selenium plays a direct role in immune cell function, helping your body effectively respond to infection. And then there's the thyroid. So most people think of iodine as the key nutrients of thyroid health, but selenium is just as essential. It helps convert inactive thyroid hormones, T4, into an active form, which is T3, keeping your metabolism running effectively. Without enough selenium, your thyroid function can then start to slow down, leading to fatigue, weight gain, and other metabolic issues. And research in antioxidants has shown and found strong correlation between selenium deficiency and thyroid disorders, particularly in hypothyroidism. But here's the paradox, because selenium is kind of like a double-edged sword. Too little can leave you vulnerable for disease, but too much can also just be as harmful, increasing the risk of toxicity and disease, and even diabetes. So how do we uncover the right balance, which we'll be focusing on next? Don't think about selenium in their diet until they are deficient. And by the time that happens, symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, or weakened immunity have already set in. But here's the good news. Getting enough selenium is not complicated, and some foods pack enormous punch. And let's start with the undisputed king of selenium-rich foods, the Brazil nut. Just one of these nuts contains anywhere between 69 and 91 micrograms, which is more than a daily recommended intake for adults. That means if you eat one or two of these per day, you are covered. But here's the catch, because they are so potent, eating too many can push your selenium levels too high, which also comes with its own risks. So if you're looking for a more moderate, balanced intake, there's also plenty of other plant-rich sources. Mushrooms, in particularly cremini and shiitake. They offer a respectable dose of selenium, alongside other antioxidants. Sunflower seeds are another fantastic option, delivering a selenium boost alongside vitamin E, a nutrient that enhances selenium's ability to fight oxidative stress. Or whole grains like brown rice, whole wheat bread, oats, contain small but steady amounts of selenium, making them a great choice for everyday meals. And then you have things like lentils and chia seeds that round off that list, offering selenium alongside fiber, making them an excellent addition to a plant-based diet. However, it is important to remember that selenium levels in these foods can vary depending on certain factors, like soil quality and farming practices. And that is why whole foods plant-based sources, especially nuts, grains, seeds, legumes, are some of the most reliable and sustainable options for your selenium. But here's where it gets interesting, because selenium absorption isn't just about how much you eat. It's also about how well your body utilizes it. Because certain dietary habits like excessive eating of ultra-processed foods or having low stomach acid can reduce selenium absorption. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. So could a tiny trace mineral really secretly be controlling your immune health? Yes, your thyroid or even your lifespan. And if it's so important, why can too much of it be making us sick? Because as we know, selenium is crucial for immune function, thyroid health, and even brain performance. And it's needed for selenium proteins, powerful antioxidants that protect cells from damage. But the right dose is crucial. Too little increases disease risk, too much toxic. A 2018 study in Nutrients found selenium plays a key role in T cell activation, the immune cells that fight viruses. As always, I'll link below. Research also linked optimal selenium levels to a lower risk of cognitive decline. But then on the reverse side, too much isn't always better because more selenium has been linked to type 2 diabetes. So how much is enough? Because most adults need 55 micrograms per day, while pregnant women require 60 micrograms. But in places with selenium poor soil like New Zealand, deficiency is rising. Meanwhile, by excessively eating selenium-rich foods, especially Brazil nuts, can easily exceed the 400 micrograms toxicity levels, leading to selenosis, which can cause hair loss, nausea, and nerve damage. What is the best way to hit the sweet spot? 2 Brazil nuts per day can meet your needs, but overdoing it will lead to toxicity. Instead, maybe a steady intake of nutrients, like mushrooms, sunflower seeds, whole grains, ensuring you get enough without the excess risk. So imagine you're doing everything right. You're eating well, you're exercising, you're even focusing on whole plant foods. But what if, despite your best efforts, you're still not getting enough of this key nutrient? And that's realistically the reality for some people. Selenium is one of the few nutrients where soil quality dictates how much you get. This is why location matters. So countries like Finland, New Zealand, and multiple parts of Europe have soil that is naturally low in selenium, meaning that a well-balanced diet still may fall short. And this is where targeted supplementation can help. Not as a replacement for food, but to fill in that gap. Another group of people that may struggle with selenium disorders are people with digestive disorders, much like Crohn's or celiac disease. The damage these conditions do to the gut lining can make it hard to extract and absorb nutrients, even if you technically are getting enough. And those people with thyroid conditions, the conversation becomes a bit more nuanced. While selenium plays a role in thyroid hormone production, the evidence for supplementation is mixed. A review in Thyroid found that selenium supplementation may reduce thyroid antibodies in people with Hashimoto's, potentially lowering inflammation. But here's the key. It's only beneficial in cases with actual deficiency. Supplementing when you're already getting enough doesn't really provide any additional benefits. For those who genuinely need a supplement, form and dose matters. Selenium comes in several different forms, but selenium methionine has been shown to have the highest absorption rate in comparison to inorganic forms like sodium selenite. And as for dosing, less is more. A safe range of supplementation is 100 to 150 micrograms per day, depending on your dietary intake. Anything beyond that is kind of risking in topping into the excess, which is why self-experimentation in high doses is not a good idea. And selenium supplements can be necessary for a lot of people, but not necessary for most. If you live in low selenium regions, digestive issues, diagnosed with a thyroid condition, or proven deficient, it's worth considering. But for the vast majority, if you're eating a well-rounded, plant-centered diet, it should provide everything you need without the risk of overdoing it. And then selenium has been hyped from everything from a cancer shield to a dangerous toxin. But what's the truth? Can it really prevent disease? Or is it just another case of overblown health claims? So let's break down the myths with real science. So can selenium help prevent cancer? Partially true. There is some evidence that selenium can help prevent certain cancers, particularly lung, prostate, and colorectal. They performed random effect meta-analysis trials in the Cochrane Library and found that people with high selenium levels had lower risk of these cancers. But here's the catch, the effect is mainly observed in people that were already low in selenium. They already had deficiencies. It didn't show anything in the people already getting enough. On the flip side, high dosages of selenium may actually increase cancer risk. With this trial, which studied selenium and vitamin E supplementation in over 35,000 men, which found no protective effect against prostate cancer. In some cases, supplementation actually increased risk, especially in those that were already sufficient in selenium. But in 2018, the Cochrane Review put it best, saying that the evidence is mixed. Selenium may help, but it's not the magic bullet. So more selenium equals better health? Absolutely false. It's easy to assume that if a little selenium is good, more could be better. Or more must be better. But that's not how it works. Selenium follows a U-shaped curve, meaning that both too little and too much can be harmful. Because excess selenium has been linked to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, neurological issues, with this large-scale study showing that more selenium was correlated with increased risk of type 2 diabetes, challenging that idea that more is always going to be beneficial. Bottom line, the body needs enough. Not too little, not too much. Taking mega doses won't give you superpowers. In fact, it can just backfire. Brazil nuts are dangerous due to selenium. False, but caution needed. You might have heard that Brazil nuts are toxic because of selenium, and while it's true they contain high amounts of selenium, calling them dangerous is misleading. One Brazil nut meets your needs. Eating 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day is safe and actually a really easy way to have optimal selenium levels. Take it as you would a supplement, which can push your selenium intake well above 400 micrograms per day, putting that in a toxicity threshold. And then that can cause nausea, hair loss, brittle nails, and nerve damage. So are Brazil nuts bad? No. But like anything, moderation is key. Selenium has real benefits, but it's also got real risks. It's not a cure for all, and more isn't always better. The best approach, Brazil nut per day. Stick to a whole food, plant-based diet. Things like mushrooms, oats, sunflower seeds, grains. And if you're unaware, get tested before you reach for a supplement. So where does that leave us? Should you rush out to buy selenium supplements? Should I be eating a handful of nuts per day? Not quite. Science is clear. Selenium is essential, but more, not always better. Stick to a healthy dietary pattern. If you have chronic issues or thyroid issues, speak to a medical doctor to see if it's actually worth considering supplementation. But for the majority of people, food first is the best approach. Selenium, powerful nutrient, but not cure for all. It won't single-handedly prevent disease or turn back the clock on aging. It just plays a crucial role in supporting overall health. Get enough, just don't go overboard. And you'll reap the benefits of this mighty mineral. As always, it's been a pleasure. I will see you next time. If you found this beneficial, make sure to give us a little like or subscribe, or follow us over on Instagram for more daily plant-based nutrition tips. Until next time, legends, peace and plants.